Hello, welcome to week 9. I'm going to jump right in, share the creation activity or creation care activity you did. First of all, I think creation care is an amazing phrase that we ought to use more often. But my creation care activity was I did some gardening. So I didn't plant a tree, but I did some gardening. And the gardening that I participated in, I was a little bit more intentional, not just to care for the plants, but actually to observe the life within the garden. And so that would include ladybugs and worms and caterpillars, like the invasive ones that eat your collard greens and kale, earwigs, bees, and just observing the life that happens within gardens and really appreciating them. And the insight is like none of it's insignificant. It's a life, and the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, right? And so just really appreciating the life within the garden and understanding that none of it is insignificant, and not having the kind of mind of these are pests, but this is life. Reflect on women's perspectives as you define mission and practice a missiological lifestyle. Here's my new definition, and this is kind of where I am now. I think it's ever evolving. This is kind of where I am now. Bringing good news to people contextually through empathy, action, and listening. So through the learning this week and trying to have a woman's perspective, that is the definition that I landed on. And my new challenge is I'm feeling convicted to ask the question at my church, how does patriarchy show up in our church? We definitely consider ourselves progressive. We have women deacons, we have women ministers, we have women who preach. But I would still like to ask the question, because otherwise I'm assuming from my male perspective that all is well. I would like for some women to kind of inform the community how patriarchy might be showing up in our church. Question number 3 is choose one thing from this week's readings that impacted you. At this point is where I usually do my quotes. So here's the quote. I'll try to make it quick. I think it's powerful. That mission work often takes place on the margins beyond the centers of ecclesiastical power has sometimes allowed women to assume leadership roles unavailable to them in their home countries. Thus, the way in which Annalena lived out her witness provides valuable insight into the meaning of mission and as an activity by and for women. That living missiologically is an activity by and for women who constitute the majority of believers and the backbone of Christian practice around the world today. That women are the backbone of Christian practice around the world today. You almost cannot argue with that. And so now we have this the difference between orthodoxy and orthopraxy, and one would argue orthopraxy is more important than orthodoxy, and women are, I believe, head and shoulders above men when it comes to orthopraxy around the world. And so I just think that is very relevant, because then it lifts up who should actually be informing, since those are the ones really with the boots to the ground, our missiological living. What question from this week's topics do I want to discuss with our formation group? How do we contextualize for ourselves this week's learnings? I believe that to really live missiologically, like, we have to address what we've learned, because the liberation and the listening and all those things that we want to go in the world and do might not be as far from us. We might be able to do it in-house as well. And so that would be my question. How do we contextualize our learning for our own kind of environments and spaces? Thank you.